Welcome to the channel, everybody. In today's video, we're taking a look at a stasis build for the Warlock that I've been using lately. It's utilizing some of the new elemental well mods, and this build is going to allow you to get your super and grenade back a lot faster than normal. So Guardians, let's get into it. Now we are over here on Warlock, the Shadebinder, and the aspects we're using for this build are Bleak Watcher. Press and hold the grenade button to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slowing projectiles at nearby targets. So if you hold down the grenade button, throw it, it turns your grenade into a turret and it actually shoots at enemies and slows them. The second aspect we're using is Frost Pulse. Casting your rift generates a shockwave that freezes nearby combatants. We head on over here, cast our rift, instantly freezes them. Then the fragments we're using are Whisper of Hedrons, gain a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis. Weapon damage is always a good thing. Then we have Whisper of Torment. You gain grenade energy each time you take damage from combatants. We're going to head out here, start taking damage, and as you can see, my grenade charge rate is going up faster every time I get hit. Another fragment we're using is Whisper of Bonds. Defeating frozen targets grants super energy. And since this is a super build, it's going to work really well. So that's it for this subclass. Let's go over some of these mods. We're using Elemental Charge. We become charged with light by picking up an Elemental Well. If the Elemental Well's element type matches your subclass element, we get 2 stacks of Charged with Light. So as you can see, we got a little well right here. We're going to pick it up, and we get our improved ability regeneration from the other mod that we're using. And that other mod that we're using is Font of Wisdom. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase to intellect, improving the recharge rate of your super. So after you pick up the well, you get that little timer in the bottom left-hand corner for 30 seconds. And every time you pick up a well, it refreshes that timer for 30 seconds. Now, I've already done a separate video breaking down exactly what this does to your intellect stat. So if you guys want to check that out, there'll be a video in the top right corner. But basically, every time you have this cooldown going, you get a tier 10 intellect. So even though my Warlock has a tier 2 intellect, every time I pick up one of those stasis orbs, my recharge rate is going to be tier 10. So that is really good right there. The next mod is Elemental Ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. Now, the thing about stasis grenades are that most of them just freeze enemies. They don't actually defeat them. So when I was testing this out, I found that only the Duskfield grenade actually works on the stasis class. The Cold Snap just freezes on impact, so it doesn't damage them or defeat them. And the same thing for the Glacial grenade. It just freezes enemies. It doesn't actually kill them. So you're going to have to use the Duskfield grenade if you're on Titan or Hunter. But since we're on Warlock, that's why we're using the little grenade turret. As you can see right here, the Warlock turret counts as a grenade. Just defeated that War Dog and it dropped the stasis well for us. Then the last elemental well mod that we're going over is Elemental Light. Defeating a combatant with your super spawns elemental wells that match your subclass energy type. So we check this out. Pop our super over here. You'll see that we got these little wells on the ground. There's one right here, one right here, one right here. So those are all the elemental well mods we're using. Elemental Light to get the stasis wells with our super. Elemental Ordnance to get the stasis wells with our grenade. And then we have Font of Wisdom. This is the mod that we're using those stasis wells with to get our super back faster. And we've got Elemental Charge to become charged with light after picking up the stasis mods. Then the last mod we're using for this build is Wrath of Rasputin. Solar Splash damage Fennel blows have a chance to create a Warmind cell. And the main weapon of choice for us is going to be the TQ's Divination. You get Solar Splash damage with this. Then I also have a sidearm with Wellspring to get our grenade and other abilities back faster. So as you can see right there, Solar Splash damage, and we get a Warmind cell to spawn. And for the last part of this build, we are using the Vesper of Radius chest armor. Rift release an arc shockwave when cast. Rift energy recharges faster when you are surrounded by enemies. So as you can see right here, we're going to drop our Rift. It's going to freeze them, then it's going to shock them and kill them. And if we go down here, we get surrounded by enemies. Our rift is going to charge really fast. Look how fast our rift is going up. We got it again. Froze them. Boom. Super. Boom. Kill the things. Get the stasis orbs. Kill more things. Now, the last and final mod that we're using is actually an artifact mod called Glacial Inheritance. Defeating targets with your stasis super refunds super energy. So as you can see in this footage right here, even after defeating a couple of combatants, once our super is done, you can see we actually get back a nice little chunk, which is really good. So Guardians, that is going to do it for the build. Really fun. You get your super a lot. You get your grenade a lot. What more could you ask for? The only thing left to do is subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. If you guys want to hang out with me more, don't forget to follow me over at twitch.tv/paidtobefamous, and I'll catch you Guardians in the next video. Peace.